LGBTQ plus community has over half a calendar year.
I don't like the flag. I think it's a piece of idiocy. I don't understand why it changes every bloody week. The gender affirming care movement, Nazi, Auschwitz level awful.
You shouldn't even be giving that airtime. He says loads of nonsense.
Well, you say loads of nonsense. I don't deplatform you. How many men have over?
I have no idea, Piers. I'm not in that situation.
No men have over.
Believe that there is only one type of woman, which is cisgender women.
Are there different
It's
types
not
of black
included
people?
in the conversation.
Or is black just black?
Ernest, if I now identify as a black man, am I a black man?
Why are you conflating race with gender, Piers?
I'm just
It's not the
asking you a
same
question,
thing.
Ernest. Am I a black man if I say I'm a black man? First, returning to Uncensored is Railey Gaines, whose new book appropriately is titled Swimming Against the Current, Fighting for Common Sense in a World That's Lost Its Mind. Well, Railey, great to have you back on Uncensored. How are you?
I'm doing great, Piers. It's great to be back on with you, so thank you.
Well, listen, you know, you're one of my heroines out there because you fight what's often been a very lonely battle against this kind of woke nonsense that's been happening, certainly in the sport that you were so accomplished in. See what's happened in swimming, in sprinting, in any sport that requires a fairness and equality around size and power and speed, which of course is determined largely by biological sex. It's why we separate the sexes for the Olympics, for example. I do feel the tide's turning, pardon the pun. Do you feel that?
100%. I feel more hopeful now than I have felt in these past 2 years since I've taken this stand.
What do you feel about things like Pride Month?
The same sentiment you had. What people do behind closed doors, by all means, that's the beauty of living in America, in my case. That's the beauty of where we live.
Of course.
But I don't want it to cost my taxpayer dollars, and I don't want to be forced to support this, because as a Christian, I mean, I don't support it. But that doesn't mean I want to infringe on someone else's rights, just as I don't want my rights as a woman infringed upon.
Well, let me play a clip before we come to the rest of the pack. This is Jordan Peterson, who's gotten to a furore over his video about pride.
There's a real danger of narcissism, sexual narcissism, trans-pushing, gender-affirming butchers and liars primarily target young people whose most likely outcome on the sexual front is homosexuality. I don't like flag. I think it's a piece of idiocy. I don't understand why it changes every bloody week. And I think the surgery, the gender-affirming care movement, I think it is...
That is insane. How dare he say that about Auschwitz? Gay people were killed alongside Jewish people and disabled people in the Holocaust. That is disgusting, Piers. That is disgusting. You shouldn't even be giving that airtime.
Well, he's a very famous guy.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be listening to what he thinks. I mean, he says loads of nonsense.
Well, you say loads of nonsense. I don't deplatform you.
I agree with you, James. Wow, that drawing likeness to Nazis and Auschwitz is a bit extreme. However, he does make a valid point that.
Well, he was talking specifically about
the butchery of gender-affirming care.
That's what he was talking about.
I'm sorry. There is nothing positive about basically castrating people and chopping off their breasts and their sexual organs to try and affirm anything other than some deep psychological distress. And I think that's the point he should have made instead of comparing it to Auschwitz, because it doesn't always have to be compared to Auschwitz.
Everything
that's a very touchy topic.
I don't want to
Everything Railey ever says, people like you go, it's insane. And when I say, what is it she said that's insane?
It's a great question.
You want to move on?
No, I think what she said about how she doesn't agree with it, but whilst also saying,
I
don't. Well, that's not really supportive,
have to
is
agree
it?
with you.
It's not supportive.
She doesn't have to agree with
Why
you.
does everyone need to support
They
something
don't.
that
They don't. But let me.
You show zero support for Riley's
That's
campaign.
not actually what happened. I just showed some support.
No, I'm talking about her campaign. You wanted to campaign about everything, but she's actually chosen the one that has directly impacted her life.
No, my question's not true. I just said it's an important story. I literally said it's an important story that we need to listen to.
Last week you said...
That's what I said.
If I may remind you, I know last week you said that the Olympics should be gender neutral.
Well, I still think it would solve a lot of problems.
It would solve zero problems.
It would solve so many problems.
And my point... And
I'm not a sports commentator. I don't know sport.
Oh,
but I'm telling you, I think we
James.
should listen to Riley's story. But my issue is not the story or the concern. My issue is that it's the only concern. And we drill it down.
It's literally
and we
her
say,
campaign.
What do you think about abortion rights in America? What do you think about what Trump says? You don't want to comment on it.
What do you think about the Uyghur Muslims in China?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's her truth.
What have you tweeted about the Uyghur Muslims? You haven't.
tweeted about that.
So you're a
I
bloody
don't know
hypocrite.
about it.
So be
I'm not a
quiet.
hypocrite.
Seen right there the hypocrisy.
It's not hypocrisy.
Right there. And I say to James Barr, why don't you talk about Uyghur Muslims oppression? Why should
don't
I?
you talk about Uyghur Muslims?
Why should I? I do.
Right.
Why should I? He doesn't. But he wants you to talk about all these other issues. Be very...
How's she in the conversation around Pride Month?
She wasn't. She was in a conversation about her book, which then led to a conversation about Pride Month.
Pride Month affects
because it goes aligned with your far right agenda.
Ernest, why do we?
Transgender people's existence does not threaten the existence of women. That's
I've got a
BS.
question for you then, Ernest. Why aren't we seeing women infiltrate into men's sport?
Yeah, of course we're not, because they can't compete. You don't see any trans men going into men's sport, do you? Because they can't, they'd lose.
And I don't.
Ernest,
I'm trying to figure out what are you trying to say.
Cancer UK tweeted today.
Love you too.
Did you know that anyone with ovaries, regardless of gender identity, can be at risk for ovarian cancer? Let's raise awareness by asking, can men get ovarian cancer? James Barr, men can't get ovarian cancer because men don't have ovaries. What is a leading cancer charity doing asking this stupid question?
What are you doing attacking a charity?
Because I think that is attacking women.
Why are you attacking a charity?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because a woman then actually messaged me who has terminal ovarian cancer, who says the idea of being on a tiny ward with somebody identifying as a woman next to her who actually has a penis and is a man, right, fills her with utter horror for her last few months of life.
And fear-mongering that this platform is creating.
No, she's a woman, doesn't want to be around men.
Listen to me.
When she's dying.
Piers.
Let me ask you, how many men have ovaries?
I have no idea, Piers. I'm not in that situation.
How many?
But they put it in their tweet, if you read it. You aren't a woman, Piers.
They
neither am I.
don't.
Sorry, look, you know so much about women. Your wife took a 2-week break from you. So I don't know why we're listening to you talking about women constantly.
In a nutshell, the larger point I'm making here is that the reason why I'm saying transphobia is because it's clear on this panel that a lot of you on this panel believe that there is only one type of woman, which is cisgender women, and anyone else does not prescribe to that definition.
Okay, are there different types of black people
in the conversation?
Or is black just black?
It's called diaspora.
That's because
you don't know that?
Because
Caribbeans,
black is just
Jamaicans.
black. Just like there is no such thing as cisgender and transgender. There are just women.
If I now identify as a black man, am I a black man?
Why are you conflating race with gender, Piers?
I'm just asking you a question, Ernest. If self-identity is limitless, am I a black man if I say I'm a black man? Am I?
No, because you're a white man, because it's race.
So you don't respect my rights to identify as a black man, do you? Would you respect me and refer to me as a black man, yes or no?
No.
Thank you, Ernest. Okay.